Meet Brenda. Brenda is the first person to like your Instagram post, but she's also the first person to notice that you aren't wearing your wedding ring in the photo. When you come back from a weekend trip, Brenda doesn't just ask, "How was it?" She asks, "Who paid for the hotel? Did your sister-in-law cause drama again? What did your boss say about you taking Friday off?" Brenda knows exactly who is feuding, who is dating, and who is secretly failing. She tracks her friends' locations on Snap Maps. She checks public records. She is a walking, breathing encyclopedia of other people's business. You might call her nosy. You might call her a gossip. You might just find her exhausting. But if we look beneath the surface of Brenda's relentless questioning, we don't find a malicious spy. We find a deeply anxious, incredibly fragile psychological structure. Why do some people dedicate so much of their mental bandwidth to the lives of others? Are they just bored? Or is it a survival mechanism? Today on Psychology Every Day, we are going to dissect the psychology of the hyper-curious. We will explore why knowing your secrets makes them feel safe, how they use your life to measure their own, and the sad, silent tragedy of the perpetual spectator. The Evolutionary Urge, Dunbar's theory. Before we diagnose Brenda, we have to admit one uncomfortable truth. A little bit of nosiness is hardwired into your DNA. Evolutionary psychologist Robin Dunbar proposed that gossip and social curiosity were actually the glue that kept early humans alive. If you lived in a tribe of 100 people, knowing what was going on in other people's lives wasn't just entertainment. It was a matter of survival. You needed to know who was sharing food, who was cheating, and who was sleeping with whom to understand the power dynamics of the tribe. Gossip was the original news network. So, your brain rewards you with a tiny hit of dopamine when you learn a piece of exclusive social information. But Brenda's behavior is not a survival mechanism. It is a maladaptive mutation. She has taken a healthy instinct for social connection and turned it into an obsession. And that obsession is driven by 3 specific psychological deficits. Deficit number 1, a lack of internal validation. In 1954, psychologist Leon Festinger introduced social comparison theory. The theory states that humans have a fundamental drive to evaluate their own opinions and abilities. But how do you know if you are successful or happy? You can't put happiness on a scale, so you measure it against the people around you. People like Brenda have a completely external locus of control. They possess 0 internal metric for self-worth. To know if she is doing okay in life, Brenda desperately needs to know exactly how you are doing. She engages in downward social comparison. Finding out about your messy divorce or your financial struggles gives her a temporary boost. My life might be boring, but at least I'm not in debt like they are. She also engages in upward social comparison, obsessing over the coworker who got a promotion. This fuels her resentment, but it provides her with an excuse. They only got the promotion because they kiss up to the boss. Brenda doesn't want to know about your life because she cares about you. She wants to know about your life so she can calibrate her own ego. You are not a person to her. You are a measuring stick. Deficit number 2, information as armor. The world is chaotic. It is unpredictable. For people with high baseline anxiety, unpredictability is terrifying. To a highly anxious person, information feels like control. If Brenda knows all the secrets of the office, if she knows who is getting fired, who is sleeping together, and who is mad at whom, she feels insulated from surprise. This is an information-gathering defense mechanism. By mapping out the entire social landscape, she believes she can navigate it without ever getting hurt. She asks probing, uncomfortable questions because not knowing creates a vacuum of anxiety in her chest. She thinks that if she holds the puzzle pieces of everyone else's life, she is the one who controls the board. I want to take a quick pause. Think about the Brenda in your life right now. starting to see the anxiety hiding behind their gossip? If this psychological breakdown is helping you make sense of the confusing people in your world, hit that subscribe button. We decode human behavior here every week so you can navigate your relationships with absolute clarity. Now, let's look at the saddest reason of all. Deficit number 3, the empty room. Imagine you are sitting in a house. The house is messy. The walls are crumbling. The plumbing is leaking. It is a stressful, painful place to be. What is the easiest way to avoid fixing the house? You grab a pair of binoculars, walk to the window, and spend all day watching your neighbors. Obsessing over other people's lives is the ultimate avoidance coping mechanism. If Brenda is focused 100% on your failing relationship, she doesn't have to think about the fact that she hasn't been on a date in 5 years. If she is hyper-fixated on your career mistakes, she doesn't have to confront her own deep-seated fear of failure. Being the audience to someone else's drama is safe. You get the emotional thrill of the conflict, the betrayal, and the excitement, but you bear zero personal risk. The tragedy of the nosy person is that they are living their entire life vicariously. They are a spectator in the theater of life, sitting in the back row eating popcorn and critiquing the actors on stage, but they never actually step onto the stage themselves. So how do you deal with the Brendas of the world? How do you protect your privacy without starting a war? You have to use the information diet. Nosy people are like emotional vampires. They feed on data. If you get defensive and say, "That's none of your business," you have just given them a massive piece of data. You have signaled that you have a secret, which will only make them dig harder. Instead, you use the gray rock method mixed with the boomerang technique. When Brenda asks, "So what's really going on between you and Mark? I saw you guys arguing." You become as boring as a gray rock, and you boomerang the focus back to her. You say, "Oh, it was just a minor miscommunication about a project. Hey, speaking of projects, how is that big quarterly report coming along for you?" You answer with a boring, ungossipable fact and immediately pivot the spotlight back onto her life. Remember, people who obsess over others are running away from themselves. The moment you shine the spotlight back on them, they will usually retreat. They do not want to be perceived. They only want to perceive. The next time someone interrogates you about your life, I want you to shift your perspective. Do not feel violated. Feel a boundary. Realize that their intense curiosity about your life is a glaring reflection of the emptiness in their own. You are out in the arena, living, failing, trying, and getting messy. They are just watching from the window. Keep your secrets safe, protect your peace, and leave them to their binoculars. I want to know, how do you handle the hyper-nosy people in your life? Do you have a go-to phrase to shut down the interrogation? Let's build a defensive playbook in the comments below. If this video helped you reclaim your boundaries, hit that like button and subscribe to Psychology Every Day.